As we talked about at the top of the show, within about the last hour, the United States Senate went ahead and changed the rules. And after doing so, they turned around and voted to end debate on Neil Gorsuch as the next Supreme Court justice, setting up, I believe, a vote tomorrow. But the man who knows all the details on that is Jared Halpern from Fox News Radio, who's been covering this story. Jared, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So they had to go nuclear. I guess there was no last-minute deal if they were even trying to work one out.
No, I don't even think that was an option, no. I mean, this was going to be this. We had been gearing down this path for some time, and it was pretty clear pretty quick that there were not going to be the 8 Democrats needed to break this filibuster. There were 4, and the 4 that we expected, and so that sort of set in motion the series of votes that led to what is known around here as the nuclear option, using the same precedent that was used in 2013, in November of 2013, when Democrats lowered the threshold on nominees, except for Supreme Court nominees. That was in the course of another confirmation battle. At the time, they accused the Republicans of obstructing and filibustering for politics' sake a number of judges that had been put forward by President Obama. So, the Senate had been going down this road certainly before this election, and really before even the last few. There was a deal worked out, I want to say 2005, 2006, where they nearly employed a similar tactic, and ultimately there was a deal struck that some Bush nominees got confirmed and some didn't. And that had sort of been the course of the way things had gone for a little while. Is usually there would be, some sort of deal like, all right, well, this person, not that person. You know what I mean?
I do.
I think that's not what you can't do that when you only have the one.
Maybe you can help us put this in context a little bit better since you've covered it for so long. I heard a I heard a Democratic senator say the other day, if you take away the filibuster, then basically what you've turned the Senate into is a bunch of congressmen with 6-year terms. So there were people who really believed this ability for one person to tie up the debate on an issue set the Senate apart from the House completely.
Well, I would correct that a little bit. It can't just be one person. Now, one person can request a 60-vote threshold, but remember, it takes 60 or 41 to do this filibuster. But you're right. I mean, I have heard all week from Republicans and Democrats that this is unfortunate, that this is a dangerous path to go down, that it's one step closer to making the Senate no different than the House. The difference between the House and Senate is sort of the way that things are deliberated, the way that minority parties are treated. That the idea of the Senate being, as I've heard it referred to a few times this week, the cooling cauldron to the House, and that's the way that the process is supposed to work. And as you chip away at the filibuster and eliminate it now on all nominations, the filibuster is gone, essentially, for all nominations at this point, that it does fundamentally change the tradition of the Senate. Now, that being said, there is still very much the filibuster for legislation. Bills that come to the Senate floor are still subject, in most cases, there are some exceptions, in most cases, have to reach 60 votes to pass, or at least to end debate. The fear, obviously, is that for those that want to keep these rules in place, both Republicans and Democrats, is the next thing to go would be the legislative filibuster. Senator McConnell was asked about that earlier this week and said that's not even up for consideration. It's nothing that they would do because the shoe's always on the other foot. He said, of course, it would benefit us right now, but it won't always. And that's sort of the warning, if you recall, in 2013 that was leveled when Democrat Senator Reid moved forward on invoking the first half of this nuclear option. Yeah.
So have they now scheduled a vote on this for tomorrow, a final vote?
Yeah. So the way it works is once cloture is invoked, so once they had that vote that limited debate, it sets up a 30-hour clock. So the vote would have to be no more than 30 hours after that vote took place, which is about an hour ago, right? So we're looking at a vote, if no time is yielded back, 30 hours from then. So that gets you into about 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow.
And is it expected that the Democrats use those 30 hours to stand up and protest what just happened, or is that just the procedure? Has
Well,
to be
they don't
30 hours.
necessarily even have to use those hours.
Okay. All right.
The Senate chamber can be empty and the clock continues to run. And in fact, I think you'll hear, we've heard already as debate has started now, this post-cloture debate, both Republicans and Democrats come to the floor. I saw Senator Cornyn, the number 2 Senate Republican. I saw Senator Gardner, who shares a home state with Judge Gorsuch, speak in support. But, yeah, I would anticipate that you would see throughout today and probably much of tomorrow, Democrats continue to make their case against this judge, complain about how this process has moved forward. And remember, they say that all of this started a year ago when, Merrick Garland was not even afforded a hearing or a vote. So this has been built, as we've talked about, as much as this has been building since 2005, 2006, whatever you want to say, with all of this talk about filibuster reform or changing the rules, this really turned pretty toxic with the Merrick Garland situation.
Very good. Jared Halpern, Fox News Radio, thanks for your time.
Sure thing.
Yep, have a great day. Jared's always got a great point of view on this because he's right there when all these votes went down today. So love to get his thoughts on it. And, does it change the Senate forever? They have a pretty haughty view of themselves as being somewhat above what happens in the House, but obviously they're not anymore. And I hated to see it happen, but you know what? The Democrats would have done exactly the same thing. I heard Melissa